Hi everyone, I'm Frances and I'm from Newcastle University to talk to you all about careers in humanities and social sciences. Now, the humanities are learning concerned with human culture, and social sciences are concerned with society and the relationships among individuals in society. So I've put a bunch of degrees on the screen, and I want you to look at them and tell me which ones are not classed as a humanities or social science degree. Hopefully you said chemical engineering, medicine and psychology. However, I will forgive you if you didn't quite get psychology, as psychology at some universities is classed as HAS. But at Newcastle, we focus more on the neuroscience side of psychology, so we class it as a medical science. Now at Newcastle, you can study our humanities and social science degrees in 3 different ways. As a single honours degree, for example, if you study geography, you are doing a single honours degree in geography because you're focusing on one main subject. A joint honours degree, so focusing on 2 main subjects. So for example, when I was at Newcastle University, I studied ancient history and archaeology as a joint honours degree. Or you can do a combined honours degree, which is a flexible degree programme that allows you to study 2 or 3 subjects together. There are 11 different schools within the humanities and social sciences at Newcastle. So we have the School of Architecture, Planning and Landscape, Newcastle Law School, the School of Modern Languages, the School of Geography, Politics and Sociology, the School of History, Classics and Archaeology, the School of Education, Communication and Language Sciences, the School of English Literature, Language and Linguistics, the School of Philosophical Studies, the Combined Honours School, the School of Arts and Cultures, and Newcastle University Business School. So I'm going to take you through these 11 different schools and the degrees within them, just so you guys know all the opportunities available to you. Now, our first school is Newcastle Law School. Now, at Newcastle, our law degree is an LLB Honours. What this means is that we give you the academic requirements to apply for direct entry to the LPC or the BPTC stage of professional training, which is really cool. We then have the School of Architecture, Planning and Landscape, where you can do a degree in architecture, which is a design-based degree accredited by the Royal Institute of British Architects. And what this means is that you have this professional body behind you when you graduate, saying that you are ready to go into the working world. We also do a degree in urban planning, which explores the rise and decline of industry and the recent cultural renaissance that has turned cities into living laboratories for exploration and study. We then have the School of Modern Languages, where you can study a striking range of languages, their countries and cultures, in flexible combinations to match your interests. You also get to spend a year abroad, immersed in the culture and societies of countries that fascinate you. And there's also the option to study a BA, a Bachelor of Arts, in Modern Languages, Translation and Interpreting, alongside other joint honours degrees. We then have the School of Geography, Politics and Sociology. Now within geography, we offer loads of different degrees. So you can do a BA, a Bachelor of Arts in Geography, focusing on human geography. You can do a BSc in Geography, which is a Bachelor of Science. So that's looking at geography with lots of lab work as well. Or you can do a BSc, a Bachelor of Science in Physical Geography. We also have degrees in things like mapping and planning. Or you can do a degree in Sociology, which provides you with the tools to examine social structures, social identities, and social change. You get to address contemporary issues of social divisions and inequalities in the UK and across the world. Or you can do degrees in Politics or International Relations. Both of them are really dynamic and diverse academic subjects in which you can study everything from the pressing issues of international crisis to the latest domestic political developments. And what's really cool about our politics and international relations is they're really up to date with the current political climate. We then have the School of Education, Communication and Language Sciences, where you can do a degree in education, where you explore what education means and how it has changed over history, including its central place in modern society. And loads of our students who do an education degree go on to get a qualification in teaching. Or you can do a degree in speech and language therapy. And this degree equips you with the specialist knowledge and skills to become a speech and language therapist. And this programme is approved by the Health and Care Professionals Council and accredited by the Royal College of Speech and Language Therapists. We then have the School of English Literature, Language and Linguistics. Now, I'm sure you all know what English language and English literature are from GCSE or if you're still studying them. But one thing to note, at university, they're really flexible degrees, so you can focus on what you enjoy. Or you can do English linguistics, which explores how language works, how it's structured and what it does, from the physical properties of speech to how languages change and develop over time. And you also study in modern language. We then have the School of Arts and Cultures, where you can do a degree in fine art, where we don't require our students to state a specialism when they apply. And you don't have to focus on just one area on the course, which is really cool. Or you can do a music degree, in which Newcastle offer 4 different types. Or you can do a degree in media, culture and heritage. Newcastle offer 4. So these are degrees in things like media, journalism, PR, film and loads of different areas, sometimes combined together. We then have our School of Combined Honours, where you can choose topics from over 20 of our single honours degrees to create a unique pathway spanning 2 or 3 subjects of your choice. And then we have the School of Philosophical Studies, in which you can do philosophy, where you explore philosophical questions like the nature of existence, mind and body, knowledge, goodness and beauty. Our next school is the School of History, Classics and Archaeology, where you can do a BA in History, where you can study history from the ancient times right through to the 21st century. And at Newcastle, you can do modules that span the globe. Or you can do archaeology, where you can do things like prehistory right up to the 21st century. You also have the chance to do practical field work and work in the museum that's just off campus. Or you can do classics and ancient history, where we offer 3 courses. So you can study ancient history, or you can study the ancient texts in their original language. So if you know you want to do Latin or Greek, classics is the course for you. Or you can study the ancient texts, but you don't have to do the original language side. So you can just study the text with classical studies. We then have Newcastle University Business School, where you can do accounting, marketing, economics and business management. And one of the fab things about our business courses is they are triple accredited. So this means you have 3 professional bodies behind you when you graduate. And it's also really important for you guys to know that we have a campus in London. So you can study at Newcastle University and have everything we have to offer, but study in London, right in the financial hub. All of our business courses are available. So you might want to look into that if that's something that interests you. And don't forget that many of our single honours subjects can be studied together, either within a joint honours degree or combined honours. And also, loads of our courses give you the opportunity to do a work placement, so you get to work in an industry, earning money for a year, or studying abroad for a year. So going to a university in a different country and learning all about their culture while studying. And a little bit later on, I'm going to give you the example of someone who worked abroad for the year as well. So we've looked at all the degrees available to you within the humanities, but what about applying to them? Now, applying to HASS is really easy. For most of them, you just follow the normal UCAS process. And if you want to find out more about following this UCAS process, then go onto our website where we've got more information, or go onto the UCAS website where they also give you lots of hints and tips. The most important thing for most of the HASS subjects is a personal statement. The personal statement is a 4,000 character piece of writing all about you. It's your chance to sell yourself to the university. Within it, you get to emphasise your interests, and if you can make these relevant to your chosen course, that's really fab. So for example, when I was applying to university, I said I really like museums, which is really relevant to archaeology and ancient history. It's also your chance to show your transferable skills. So if you have any part-time jobs, if you play any sports, do any music, do any extracurricular activities, you can show what skills these have given you for university. And the one tip that I would give you is to check and check again. You are always going to make mistakes that you don't notice in your own work. So get someone else to look over it and make your personal statement the best it can be. Now, there are some special requirements for some HASS subjects. For example, music, where we ask for an A-level in music, or sometimes an AS with a grade 8 instrument. And we also do an interview and a short audition, which is just enough for us to get an idea of your personality and interests. We then have fine art, where we ask for a portfolio, which consists of finished and unfinished work, so we can see your process. We also want to see work outside of your A-level and foundation to see what you do in your spare time. We then do an interview where you will be asked to bring more artwork, and it's where we just discuss with you what you enjoy doing and where you see your art progressing to. We then have law. Now at Newcastle, we don't actually do anything extra for the application process. Some universities will do an interview or ask you to sit the LNAT test. So that's something to look into. But we do recommend that you keep up with current affairs if you do study law, as it's really important to be aware of what's going on right from the get-go. Architecture. At Newcastle, we ask for a portfolio within 6 weeks of your application and prefer an art or design A-level. Speech and language therapy, where we ask for one of the core subjects, so that's biology, physics or chemistry, to be taken at A-level, or AS is sometimes considered. And also just be aware that we will do a DBS check when you arrive to see if you're okay to work with children or vulnerable people. Modern languages, we ask for an A-level in German, Spanish or French. If you are taking an A-level in a different language, then just get in contact with us and see what we say. And that is all the special requirements. So we've had to think about all the different degrees you can do. We've had to think about applying to HASS. Now, what about the misconception? I have a good idea of the career I want, but I'm unsure whether humanities will prepare me for it. Yes, it's great if you have an idea of the career you want, but humanities will definitely prepare you for a wide variety of things. This is a massive misconception. Also, if you don't know what you want to do, don't let the misconception of humanities put you off. I still get asked the question today, what are you going to do with an archaeology degree if you don't want to be an archaeologist? Absolutely loads. Now, if you do know what career you want, you can start by investigating the skills you need. So you can go on job search websites like Indeed and look up the job and see what they want. Or you can go on websites like prospects.com, and that will also tell you what sort of skills and qualifications you might need. But in general, HASS degrees are a great way to build and evidence a huge range of skills which will allow you to progress in numerous fields. Now, I've asked the question, how many graduate jobs are open to any degree discipline? So there are jobs which you have to be a graduate to apply for. You have to have a degree. But how many of these jobs don't really care what degree you have? 60%. 60% of jobs you have to have a degree for just want that degree. And that is because of the transferable skills. And there are loads of benefits to doing a humanities and social science degree, which I put some of them on screen. So a humanities and social science degree gives you the ability to weigh up evidence and consider more than one side of every question. You learn to summarise, argue and debate. You get the ability to research, select, analyse, organise and present information, which you will do in so many jobs. You get the ability to think creatively and ask questions about the world. You get independence and self-motivation skills, which is massively important. You get skills in writing and critical thinking, and you get the ability to convey meaning, effective communication skills. For many employers, a humanities and social science degree is a testament to your hard work, creativity, enthusiasm, and ability to process lots of information. And many of the skills that you pick up on a degree are transferable to the workplace. I think it's really important to remember this. 3 years at university is a long time to do a subject you don't enjoy. Doing a humanities and social science degree won't close doors for you, it will only open them. Now, there are some careers that are specific to humanities and social sciences. For example, if you want to be a lawyer, you do have to have a law qualification. To be in architecture, you have to have studied architecture. To work in education, getting a teaching qualification always helps. And urban planning, you have to get the skills you have on a degree to work in the field. However, others will pursue a humanities and social science degree out of pure interest for the subject. And this leaves your options wide open. You can go into so many areas like PR and business, being a data analyst, a media producer, events manager, working in transport and logistics. I'm going to give you an example. So our history graduates at Newcastle University, one of the most common jobs that they go into is accounting. And you wouldn't necessarily think that history can lead on to accounting, but it's those transferable skills that are really important, and it does work really well. There is also loads of opportunities at university to develop other skills, both through your studies and outside activities. So yes, you have those transferable skills through your degree: teamwork, critical thinking, analytical reading, time management, communication, organisation, goal setting, and one of the most important ones, confidence. But employers want well-rounded individuals. And at university, you have the opportunity to do so much that you might not get the chance to do again. For example, sports. At Newcastle, we have over 60 sports clubs, and you can play these at different levels. If you just want to play for fun or try a sport you've never done before, you absolutely can. If you want to play on a team that's for your course and play against other courses in the university, you absolutely can. If you're of the right level and you want to play for the university against other universities, again, you absolutely can. And this is a chance for you to gain, develop, and evidence teamwork, time management, communication, and so many other skills. Also the chance for you to meet people and learn new things. You can also join societies at university. So these are clubs by students for students, and we have over 200 at Newcastle. So we have societies for courses like the Geography Society, or the Eldon Society, which is our law society, or the Creative Writing Society. But we also have societies for interests and skills, like the A Cappella Society. We have gaming societies, baking societies, film societies. And then we have loads of cool societies as well, like the RAG, which is Raising and Giving, and they host loads of events on campus you can get involved in. We also have the 20-Minute Society, which the picture of the exit sign there represents. And this is a society which you give your mobile number over, and they just text you for like 20 minutes in advance saying to meet somewhere and go do something really fun. They also go on holiday every year, where you might get a couple of weeks' notice, a month's notice, but you won't actually know where you're going till you're at the airport getting ready to get on that plane, which is really exciting. There's also the chance to do loads of volunteering at university. So through Newcastle University's Students' Union, you can volunteer in just about anything. You can help with charities, schools, in those different things. And you can also get which is a week of Raising and Giving, where they do things like fashion shows, fancy dress, man versus food, take me out, absolutely loads. Or you can get involved in our student paper, student radio station, or student TV channel, where you can write, edit, produce, perform, do absolutely loads. So for example, 2 girls that I lived with in my 3rd year of university, they hosted their own radio channel on the radio station, And they just talked about lots of different things, played some music, had a bit of fun, and they really enjoyed it. And it was their chance to then say on their CVs that they'd hosted this radio show, and they also edited it and produced it themselves. So they gained those skills as well. Another thing to get involved with at university is the career service. Now, Newcastle has a fantastic career service, which is on hand to help you throughout your degree. They do things like mock interviews, mock assessment centres, drop-in CV clinics. They also give general careers advice, help you get work experience, internships, part-time jobs. They also do events with loads of employers on campus every year. And one of the most fantastic things about the service is it is available to our graduates for up to 3 years after you graduate. So if you don't know what you want to do when you leave university and you want to go travelling for a year or just have a bit of fun, you absolutely can. And you can still come back and use our career service to help you progress after, which is really fab. So for example, I graduated in 2018. And this year I decided that I wanted to go back to university to do a master's. And the career service at Newcastle helped me write my personal statement and figure out which master's course was best for me. And it was so good to be able to have a couple of years out and work for a few years, have that time to figure out that further education was the next thing for me. And I could still come back to Newcastle and use their service. And this is an example of someone who worked abroad for the year. So I said earlier I was going to talk about this. So this is Ellie. She did a combined honours degree in sociology and philosophy, and she worked as a conversation assistant for a year in Barcelona, where she worked in a local school. And this was fully supported by Newcastle University. And she said that it enabled her to push herself and learn what she was capable of. She also got to develop her skills and experiences working with children aged 3 to 16, which has helped her progress in her current career. So I talked a lot about some skills and opportunities there: sports, societies, volunteering, paper, radio, TV channel, career service, going abroad for the year. I do just want to say that everything I talked about I made very relevant to Newcastle University. However, all universities have these in place, so it's definitely something worth looking into when exploring which university is best for you. So I've talked a bit about all the degrees you can do, applying to them, some of the misconceptions, some of these specific careers within humanities. Now we're going to look at some of our graduates from the humanities and social science subjects. Now our graduates go on to do numerous different things. Some go on to further study, so doing a master's or a PhD. Some are self-employed. Some go on to graduate schemes. So these are schemes purely for graduates to gain experience of the working world. Some go straight into working into big businesses. So these are really big businesses with lots of offices. And some work in education. So let's have a look at some examples. So our first one is Rowan. She did a sociology degree. She then did a master's in international marketing. While she studied, she had a part-time job at a gym and she travelled a lot. And she's going on to work in the Worldwide Fund for Nature. And she said that she's able to utilise both her degrees within the career she wants. Her master's helps her with marketing, and her sociology degree helps her be aware of social responsibility and inclusivity within her marketing, which is really important. We then have Callum. He did a degree in accounting and finance. Whilst he was studying, he did an internship at Newcastle University Business School. So he did an internship with the university, and he's now in a graduate scheme at Deloitte. And he said that at university, he saw his skill set grow and develop to a level he didn't think was possible. His degree not only allowed him to expand on accountancy-specific knowledge, but also taught him the importance of being a well-rounded student, which is something that employers are looking for more and more. This is Ella. She did a combined honours degree with English, linguistics and philosophy. She did a work placement, so she worked for a year within her degree, and she was a global brand intern at Mayborn Group Limited, and she's now at a rotation graduate scheme at Fenwick. She said that her job at Fenwick changes role throughout the 18 months she's there, and her degree has really got her used to change and dealing with a variety of tasks, particularly because she did a combined honours. She said that her degree helped grow her communication skills, which is essential to a job, and really nurtured her analytical and ability to problem solve. And again, this is something she uses in her job all the time. This is Joe. He did a history degree. He's now self-employed as the artistic director of Beyond the Woods Festival. So he runs, hosts, and is in charge of his own festival that was originally called Joe Fest. He said that his degree allowed him to learn and develop a range of skills which enable him to be successful in his job. For example, with the group work projects he had to do, they gave him the social confidence that he now needs and uses when communicating with musicians and agents. We then have Johan. He did a music degree. He also studied abroad for a year at the Malmö Academy of Music, and he is now a freelance musician. He said Newcastle University's music department gave him the resources and training to pursue his career as a professional musician. He also accredits our music enterprise module with being so helpful and teaching him to learn how to market himself, which he now uses as he plays and teaches violin, percussion and guitar to hundreds of people every month, which he really enjoys and is something he never thought he'd be doing. This is Jessica. She did an English language degree. She then worked as a graduate ambassador at Newcastle University, and she is now a post-16 guidance officer. She said her degree helped her with her proofreading skills, which she uses every day in a job when looking at CVs and UCAS applications. And also her degree helped her to be able to think creatively, which she uses when thinking about solutions to students' problems. This is Alex. He did a politics degree. He was also a graduate ambassador at Newcastle University. He then did a PGCE, so that's a teaching qualification, and he is now a primary education teacher. He said that no day in teaching is ever the same, and the varied nature of his humanities degree has prepared him for it. This is Sarah. She did an English literature degree. She was then the Welfare and Equalities Officer at Newcastle University's Students' Union. Now, within Sarah's degree, she did creative writing, and she said that this has helped her go about her campaigns in a creative manner. She also developed the ability to argue effectively on her degree, which she has put into practice and managed to persuade the university to fund some of the provisions she wants to set up, which was really cool. This is George. He did a combined honours degree with a study abroad. So he did history and geography, and he went abroad for a year as part of his degree. And he is now an audit associate at KPMG London. He himself says that accounting may not seem like the obvious choice or clear path for humanities students, but he's found that the skills he developed through his degree really come in handy. He is also currently studying for his chartered accountancy qualification, and the flexibility of his combined honours degree taught him how to manage working and studying simultaneously. And our last one is Ellen. So she also did a combined honours degree where she studied business and Chinese, and she is now a consultant at Tata Consultancy Services. She said that had she been either a pure languages or a pure business student, she doesn't think she would have been able to show the skill set for the role she now does. Combined honours taught her how to manage two disciplines and still thrive at university. It required her to be flexible and manage different diversities and dynamics, which is really helpful in a job. And one thing it's particularly helpful for is networking, which she now does on a regular basis. So I've taken you through all the degrees at Newcastle within our Humanities and Social Sciences. We've had a think about applying to them. We've looked at some of the misconceptions, some of the specific HAS careers, some of the skills and opportunities available to you at university, and then we've had a look at some of our graduates. Now, there's a lot of information here, but hopefully this has been helpful. And if you do have any questions, then do go on our Uni Buddy, where you can talk to academics from all of the subjects as well as past students. Thank you for listening and have a good day.